right, there we go. Hey everyone, Richard Carlton here. Welcome to another great day of FileMaker training at fmtraining.tv. I'm the creator of fmtraining.tv, where you can learn all about the FileMaker platform and learn how to build better FileMaker applications for you, your customers, your organization. This broadcast is completely free to everyone and is being broadcast in high definition to Discord, YouTube, and to Twitch. This broadcast is being recorded, which is really great. Of course, we might clean up the recording a little bit, so if we make a malfunction during the live stream, then of course we reserve the right to clean that up on the recording later on. However, because it's a live broadcast, we encourage you to ask questions. In fact, some people get aggravated when there's this dialogue with you and we ask questions. We want questions. If you have a question, odds are other people have the question too. And so I want to thank everyone for logging in. Ken and TK and Dave One, Dave Learning, Ed, Elzo, Carol, Jake, Mike, all of you, welcome once again to another great broadcast. Now, as a reminder, if you want to check out the upcoming broadcast, go to fmtraining.tv, press the left tab for the live button. You can see the upcoming broadcast schedule. That's pretty awesome. Additionally, if you want to help support this channel, right? We always say this, this broadcast is brought to you by fmtraining.tv, bringing you the greatest and the most entertaining FileMaker training videos available. So the idea is that if you want to help support the channel, make sure you check out our on-demand video bundles. We have videos that cover the latest version of FileMaker. We have videos that cover the deploy course. In fact, we used to sell the courses individually. Anymore, it's just much simpler to sell a complete bundle for a low price. We do this on an annual basis. So if you buy one of the bundles, that really helps support the channel. It ensures that we can keep coming back every day, because this broadcast actually takes a lot of money to run. The people here don't work for free. Welcome everyone to another day of FileMaker training. I'm Richard Carlton, creator of fmtraining.tv. We have an interesting day today. Lots of little interesting news elements. Yesterday was kind of a news conversation. Today is more of a concrete conversation. We have a lot of loyal followers, and I want to say a shout out, congratulations to Ellen the Lobster. So Ellen's a nice lady. She's an artist. Wherever you see artwork floating around of like cats and stuff, that's Ellen. Ellen rolled out a solution, and so these are screenshots of her solution. If I pop them up here, I wanted to show you everyone this. So she rolled this out for a customer today. It's very clean. It's very nice work, Ellen. Looks pretty professional. I like how that looks. Ellen did a nice job with this. So this is her rolling this out for a customer. So the power of the FileMaker platform. It's not about Richard. It's not about Nick, although Nick would think it's about him. Nick does a great job. We love Nick. That being said, it's about all of you making great solutions. And so here's a menu that she built, probably in a card, I would guess, if she built this in a card. And then she built a couple data entry screens. And I was looking at this, and it's really clean, really clean, really clean. It looks really, really nice. I see little things in there. You like, if you were like going to be really anal, you would like go down and like say, oh, well, this is off 1 pixel here, and this is 1 pixel here. But it's actually pretty damn straight, because what you're looking for is uniformity is across here, right? So you got so those labels are uniform across. These things are uniform across here. These things are generally pretty uniform across. One thing I caught her right here, I was looking at this, and there's some edging issues right here with that one. But that's the only problem I see here with this interface. That's pretty damn good. This is basically senior level developer work, right? Most senior FileMaker developers do stuff that look like this. The goal, of course, is always to be as pretty and as nice as you can, but sometimes the customer have to be able to afford what you're doing. So I want to say welcome, Ellen. I would show a picture of that. Congratulations. Awesome work. And so if you get a project that's complete for one of your customers and you want to show everyone here, create some dummy screens out of it, remove any of the confidential information, and definitely send it to us, and we will be happy to share with the other people here, right? Let's talk about some interesting things we talked about in the news. So a lot of times I get told things that are confidentiality, and then what ends up happening is that Claris, I guess, announces it publicly, and I'm never quite sure what's public and what's not public. And so I guess I got this sent from Oregon Dean. He says it's a public webinar. I'm assuming it's public webinar. He sent me the information. Basically, Claris has announced their information on their virtual only virtual only DevCon. So DevCon, we call it DevCon. They wanted to rebrand the company, rebrand the name, rebrand the product, rebrand whatever. The point is, this is DevCon. They call it Engage, but it's DevCon, Developer Conference for FileMaker, right? And then the proper title is Engage, right? It was going to be in San Diego. I was looking forward to flying down there for that. However, it's going to be virtual again. So it's kind of a major drag for people who like to meet other people. There's a couple contributors in the FileMaker community who do really great work. And I want to do a shout out whenever I do this. I try to like coordinate with these folks a little bit, but Hansa is too busy doing his own thing. Either that or he thinks that what we do here doesn't matter, which is fine. I'm not doing it for his benefit. I'm doing it for your benefit. And so what we've got is that Hansa at 24U has been really beating the hell out of FileMaker Server 19 and doing performance testing, because Claris keeps monkeying with the formula under which how the server does. Like it does a find for you and sends you the data, but with Server 19 it can do the sort for you and then send you down the sort results, etc. And so he has these webinars where him and probably the biggest geeks in the FileMaker community, I'm surprised Kyle isn't there, to be honest with you, they show up to this thing and they're kind of pontificating about what is the server doing and why is it better or slower, or is it good, bad, or otherwise. And if I wasn't busy running the company, it's something I would be interested in, because I'm always about trying to get the max performance out of it. So unfortunately, I didn't get to go to this last event. I went to the December event. I didn't go to this one. And they did, so there's results in here. You can read through this, but if you go to 24U and drill down, you can see their information. So he was doing some testing in here. Once again, index search, and this has to do with some performance changes that were made with the way that Claris does what they call share locking. Yeah, and so it doesn't matter. The point is, under some conditions here, the smaller the better on the chart here. The greens are FileMaker 19.2 server. The blues are the last version of 18. Okay, so it could be as much as what, 400% faster or 500% faster under some conditions, what this chart shows. And then in other areas, it shows that here it's actually slower right here, right? And here it's twice as fast, and here it's much slower again. So it's not always a slam dunk kind of thing, right? And so there's areas like right here where really the performance differences don't really matter, right? And then you have, of course, performance difference here that are really great. And so part of this is to digest this. I'm telling you, if you're not a senior developer with 15 years of combat experience, don't go here. It'll blow your mind. Your little head will explode, and fluffy bits will go away. Ryan, it would kill Ryan. I'd have to get a new sales guy. He'd read this crap and he'd go, and then it's a flat line. Doctor, code blue in the ER, and your paddles are warming them up. We're going to resuscitate them off the floor. So it's deep stuff. The trick is how to take this, then take your design and strategy and marry it into a single strategy. And that's kind of what lean design is. So as this starts to solidify, remember 19.2, they're still solidifying these charts. In 19.3 or in 20 or whatever the next version of the product is, and I have no idea what they're going to call the next one, because we kept thinking they would change it to a year, call it 2021 or 2022 or 2020 or whatever. They still call it 19, right? So I honestly don't know what they're doing, right? I have no clue. So people think that I'm tightly connected to Claris. Yeah, a little bit sometimes, but for the most part, not really, right? So I find out mostly when you find out, but because I've been doing it for 31 years, it allows me to have a kind of a broader perspective. And I'm not always right. I mean, most time older age. I remember when I was 20, I was mostly always wrong. Now most of the time I'm more right than I'm not. So anyway, that's just a function of screw. If you screw up enough stuff, you learn from it, you will be wise. Wisdom only means that you're young and you've already done the young and stupid thing excessively. So this is the 24U software. Pretty good stuff. All right, moving along. So Kyle, we had a broadcast, I don't know, 2 weeks ago with Neil from Australia. Neil's a fantastic guy. He did these demos where he had like little animations and things that were just like amazing. And the problem was that most of the animations were processor intensive. FileMaker was busy trying to do the animation. And most of the time, FileMaker's already busy doing finds for you, source for you, displaying data. You don't have it. You don't want it struggling doing animations. And so the problem is that Neil had some really great ideas, but you had to make sure that they were low impact to the FileMaker application. And I kind of threw that back at Kyle, and Kyle was like, "Oh, yeah, I can do that. I can do that 10 times better," right? So Kyle came up with a demo. We're going to have him walk through it probably on his computer. Kyle, you need to make sure you can demo it on your computer. In a sec, I'm going to open it up for people to see here. So say that Ellen, NetLobster, who's on the broadcast here, rolls out this accounting solution, and somehow a live payment comes in, payment received from PayPal, $920 or something like that, right? So here's a message right here. We can try to have, except that text is not up there. Okay, so that was pretty good. This one pops up. I guess you can close it. That one's pretty neat. Do any of these actually, they just tell you you're doing a great job, which is a warning alert. How about the slide? Look. So we have text here, but it actually doesn't do anything. So Kyle, this is where you get an F- in flight for breaking our not having great demo. All right, so never mind. Cancel. And then Ellen, you should not use. No one should use this. This is horrible. All right, so Kyle, you want to show your screen to me? And is the resolution set at something reasonable, like 1080 or 720 or something like that?
Yeah, just a moment here. Okay, so this text box, that's there for a different purpose. Let me explain that. So a couple weeks ago, I was doing this presentation where I had this field right here. I select this field, and this pop-up shows up, and then after 4 seconds, it disappears. Okay, so what's happening there? As it pops up, the script is paused. I can go in here, I can start typing away, and this message pops up. It says, before typing, press tab, click in a field, et cetera, et cetera. So obviously we don't want the user to have to deal with that.
Okay, pause. Okay. You didn't explain that as well as you could have. Let me help with this just a little bit. So for those of you who are more beginning FileMaker people, here's the deal. Let me get rid of my sidebar there too, so it's nice and clear. All right, so listen. A lot of the animations that are created, and Neil did this too. Neil did some really great ones, so I'm not in any way dissing Neil. But what you don't want is that if you put an animation up, that it's firing scripts and doing stuff that is interfering with what the user's doing. You don't want the user to be interfered with unnecessarily. And so what happened, what he just demonstrated, if he's going to go and do it again, just repeat the demo. Just do it. So he has an animation going up, and then he's typing over here, but then right in the middle of the person typing, the computer comes back with this erroneous, interesting message that confuses a brand new user. And so the idea, once again, Kyle, this is how you present it to beginning people, not advanced people, because we have, everyone here is not like you. So Kyle, this is going to be educational for you too, okay? Got it?
Understood.
Got it. So this is for Megan. Megan, you understand the issue here. We don't want a script firing right in the middle when someone's typing. Right, unless it's some sort of crisis. So Megan, we're good on that? Yes, no? Yes, got it. All right, so I gave a challenge, said, Kyle, this is really great, but I am never going to use it unless you can have a nice, pretty display that does not interfere with the user. And so that's what Kyle went off to solve. So Kyle, what did you do?
So yeah, what was going on is you're typing and it's trying to go to this other object. So there's a couple slide panels here that operate that slide notification. So when it's paused for 4 seconds, it resumes as the person's typing, which results in that error message because it's trying to exit the field to go to the slide to hide that notification. So when it exits and the person's trying to type, that's when you get that error message. So that's why I had this text field here, so that way I could demonstrate that this is completely separate from that notification. So again, it never left this field. I can continue typing, and it doesn't interrupt anything. So this web viewer operates completely separate. I can change it from 3 seconds to 1 second, or I can have it just display permanently and never go away until the user actually selects the close button.
All right, so let me interchange here. So he has a lot of options here we can look at briefly, but yeah, so Megan understands. So this came up with Larry the other day, right? And Larry said, I don't understand why web viewers are why they're useful to me or why they're relevant. I think the word was relevant. Larry, that was you. Larry, you're there, right? Please say yes. And there's Neil. Neil, if you have any comments along the way, that's good too. But I'm pretty sure that was Larry. Yeah, Larry said to me. So I reshot the video last night, Larry, to explain this, basically the idea of what web viewers are, but why they're relevant for beginning people and why you should care about them or why you might want to care about them. And then the add-ons are kind of secondary to that. So the whole point of this, once again, can you go to layout mode for me, Kyle?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to move myself out of the way here real quick. So this, that's you, I guess, or something. So right here, this is a web viewer, and apparently, I guess there's two of them here. The point is that
yeah, okay, go ahead.
that's fine. It doesn't matter that there's two. It's arbitrary. That FileMaker controls this entire window. So if anything happens in this window, a text changes, a field changes, the colors change, anything happens, FileMaker controls the entire window except the box right here, which is a web viewer, and this is directly controlled by the operating system. And why is this important? Because the operating system, a lot of people talk about this, and I'm going to simplify this conversation, is that FileMaker basically has one brain. If you buy a 28 core computer and you buy all these cores, I got the best computer ever. FileMaker Pro or FileMaker Go will use one processor and I'm simplifying this, one processor on that computer, and all the other processors will sit around doing nothing. And so the idea is that if the operating system is running this little web viewer right here, okay, then the operating system is using a separate processor, doing its own thing, totally oblivious for the most part that FileMaker even exists, okay? And so FileMaker is using its own processor, and it's rendering all this stuff over here. I would just pretend like there's this one right here. It's working on this stuff up here, stuff over here, everything. It's updating, flashing, doing all sorts of stuff. And the operating system in a separate processor is totally, the term in the business is asynchronous. They're not dependent upon each other or both operating kind of like, this is Megan over here listening to her music with her headphones on and totally oblivious to the fact that Richard's in the back room blasting the music out from the loudspeakers, okay? Totally oblivious, not connected in any way. Starting in FileMaker 19, they tightly integrated the communication between the two. So if Megan's in there doing her own thing and I'm out here doing my own thing, prior to 19, you could communicate. The word I would use, it's a little fragile. Doesn't matter how and why it's fragile. For those of you who understand it's URL protocol. URL protocol is brittle. It's fragile. It's not a robust technology. You would not want to, for example, control the release of nuclear weapons with a URL protocol because it could inadvertently just fire off or not work at all when you wanted to fire it, right? So it's an imprecise, fragile technology. In FileMaker 19, they corrected this issue, made it much more reliable. We talked about that with Calvin on Monday, I think. And so the idea with that was that there's precise communication. So I can say, Megan, do this. And Megan says, got it. And then Megan tells me, Richard, do this, right? And so there's really great communication. So now, here's the thing. If we want some sort of animation to happen and not affect FileMaker, it really needs to happen in a web viewer, and the web viewer handles it. The operating system handles it for us with its own processor. We don't care, right? We don't care. So that's how we got to where this is at. So this web viewer could show a calendar. It could show a signature capture. You could put your signature in. You could put a barcode. You could do a million things with a web viewer. In this case, Kyle, who's going to go back to browse mode and walk us through this now, has wired it up so it can flash a notification message. So
yeah, so I wanted to demonstrate that you can have it slide in from the right or you can have it slide in from the left. And because these are two independent web viewers, I can control them separately. So that's kind of cool. And you'll notice that they're mirror images of each other. So I did that in the code to make it the mirror image each other. And then I just played around with a bunch of different colors, and I wanted to try to just show that you can change the text, you can change all the colors, everything's customizable. I also wanted to show that you can do a slide down alert from the top, and it has a little hover that you can click to dismiss. So that's kind of handy.
I like the auto dismissing ones myself. So you have the auto dismiss one.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going to have a version 2.0 where I'll have that timer in these notifications as well.
Well,
currently I just have a timer in the
isn't that what this is?
Yeah. So this is 3 seconds. If I just let it go for 3 seconds, it's going to go away. And this one, it's 1 second.
Okay, so I'm confused. So what's the 2.0 demo?
Well, obviously I haven't created it yet. I just have the 1.0. So in a future release, I'll animate this, or I'll put the timer to the slide down notification as well. I just didn't have enough time. I wanted to kind of just demonstrate the slide in from each side.
Okay. So you just have more demos to do, but yeah, basically, I think having the message pop up, having the color combination pop up is pretty good, and then having it auto dismiss is useful too, right? Because you can have it dismiss or have the manual dismiss. I think either way is good. So pretty cool. So this is actually, so Neil was there. Neil, where did Neil go? Neil, most of our animation live based upon refresh rather than go to object, and interference was limited. Yeah. So yeah, the trick is to make sure that you don't have a lot of overhead and process going on. So I'm not in any way picking on you, Neil. I basically the idea is to, in an ideal world, just have it be really hands-free and not have to worry about it. And fire and forget is a term I like to use. You fire it off and you don't worry about it after the fact. So Neil's saying a lot of you are based on refresh rather than go to the object, right? So that's the trick. So Neil's got a sample file, which is great. If you, I don't know if we have, I can find the link to that and go back and post that. This one is just basically when I challenged. Kyle said, "Oh, you can't do that, Kyle." And Kyle said, "Yeah, I can do that. I'll show you I could do that." Right? So there's like this kid, like kindergartners in the playground. I double dog dare you to do it, Kyle. No, I double, triple dog dare you. And it's like, so yeah, yeah.
I was saying, "Oh yeah, I can fix that, no problem. Watch me." So here you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do have an add-on which I'm also going to release today. So I don't know. I shared it with Richard. I also have another add-on which I'm going to share, which was the one I did for Neil, showing his animation. It's a text field.
If it's working, do you want to show it? You want to show it?
Sure. Let's create a new one here.
So the add-on is basically the ability to have a very simple drag and drop functionality. So
yeah, so we just go down here to add-ons. So you can see here's the slide alert one. I'll just show that real quick. So this, I just slide it onto the layout, just like that. So this has one web viewer here. It's got some code in here that actually makes it transparent. So if you use this, you're going to want to update this hex code right here to the background of your layout. So obviously I can't look up what your layout part color is. So you got to kind of modify that. So that way when you open up your web viewer, it's going to be transparent. Because that's F2, it's going to match the gray background I had on the other file.
Which is fine.
Yeah. So, yeah. And then this will work right out of the box. So there's the 3-second timer. I got the green one in there. I just did one of each color, and I also did the slide down. So all of that works in here. So really easy to add to any file. You can go in here. And here I have, that's where all the magic happens. So I have, here's the message. So if you want to change the message text, right there you can change your message text. Your show duration millisecond. So I have 3,000 there, and that's going to be 3 seconds. So 3,000 milliseconds. And then whether or not to slide in from the right. So this is a Boolean value. So use 0 to slide in from the left, or just leave for 0 to slide in from the right. And then all the various colors for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea with this is that the transparent, it's faking the transparency. It's not really transparent. So when this thing comes over here, right. It's having a color that matches it, makes it look transparent, but it's actually not transparent. So if can you bring one up real quick? That's not a time delay. Just bring one up real quick, Kyle. Just hit the button for me. Okay, yeah. So let me hold right here. So normally what we're going to do is you're going to tell that F2 to have whatever color this is here. It's going to paint that in here. So it's not really transparent, but it will appear to be transparent. It's total fakery. So it's not really. So if you have a bunch of stuff on top of it, like say you had a bunch of fields and stuff and you want to have the message come down on top of it briefly, you couldn't really, well, you'd have to make the web viewer visible, right? Have the layout refresh, have the web viewer become visible. then hide and unhide the web viewer. I don't even know if you could even do that. That would be another. Yeah, it's a hack,
Yeah,
Mookie, to the max.
the
Max.
web viewer is always going to be the topmost object on any layout, so it's really hard to hide. I think you can put it in a slide panel to hide it,
Okay.
and then just switch to a different slide to make it disappear. But it's always going to be the topmost object on your layout, so you can't really have anything else on top of it because it'll just disappear. It's more of a problem on Windows than it is Mac. With Mac, they did do some work on the layering of the web viewer, but on Windows, it's web viewer's always on top of everything, even drop-down lists and any pop-up menus. They'll always appear behind the web viewer, which is kind of annoying for Windows. But
So
there is a difference between Mac and Windows there.
Yeah. So Neil says a fully transparent web viewer would be amazing. Yeah, I would guess at some point we would probably get that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then Agent Chevy says this would cause some overhead on performance, right? So I'm not sure when you say this, it's kind of a pronoun. And once again, I'm looking at the timing here.
There is really no overhead on their performance. There's no performance hits really with WebViewer because it's independent from everything else in FileMaker. So you can load a WebViewer very quickly, even if it's really complex. You can have thousands of lines of code, and it's going to load that WebViewer in a second.
Okay,
less
so
than a second.
yeah, so there's a couple things. One is that you can run into performance issues with web viewers, but generally not. The second comment comes from good conversation, good comment. Is that Moki says I don't think they're practical since they're using different rendering engines. So I'm not sure how this works on Windows. Have you tried this on Windows?
Yeah, this works fine on Windows. It's a little bit smaller than on a Mac, so I think you can edit the zoom in the JavaScript to have it determine whether or not it's Windows or Mac, and then adjust the size accordingly so it's the same on both operating systems. I have not added that code yet.
Yeah, that being said, Claris, I don't know if it made. So this is, I don't know, is Dean, Oregon Dean here? I mean, who here was in the, yeah, Oregon Dean's here. So during Oregon Dean, did they talk about updating the code for the web viewer in your broadcast, in your presentation? So from Tuesday, there was a partner broadcast. On Wednesday, there was kind of like the semi-public one. Yeah, so there's little differences between the broadcasts, and so Claris is working because because of the way Microsoft is going, they're deprecating the, basically under the hood here. This is a web browser being called, and currently in Windows, it's using basically IE 11 based drawing. That is being swapped out to Edge really soon, like really, really soon. So I don't know how soon that is. Yeah. Oh, they mentioned that they're switching to Edge.
So
okay,
they're
yeah.
trying to do it in the next version.
Yeah, but I don't. Okay, but just to be clear, I don't have a clue what the hell the next version is.
Yeah.
So once
nobody
again,
really knows.
well, I've asked them, and they kind of dodge around the question. So,
Yeah. Robert was telling me that they are trying to get it out as soon as possible. They're still in testing right now.
Just so you know, they told me they were trying to get it as soon as possible this time last year. So let's just keep this framework in mind, right? It's an ongoing kind of battle down there to see what gets prioritized. So they've been promising it for a long time. A lot of it is limitations due to Microsoft not being as cooperative as they should. So anyway, all right. So Leland Long says, slide in from left. Boolean needs to be 0, 1. Your note states 0 or 0. Leland says. So.
Well, I could change this to Boolean and it would still work. I could have this be completely empty. I could go over here and I comment that out, and that's the same as 0. So that'll slide in from the left if I do that.
Okay.
So
I'm just reading I'll just copy and paste it here. So there's that one. I'll paste it down there. That's from Leland. That's from Twitch, from YouTube. Cameron, welcome, Cameron. Can the web viewer?
Don't do 1 or 0.
Can the web viewer background be an RGB value? RGB.
Yes, it can.
He says RGBA, but is that a typo? Is there such a thing as RGB?
No, RGBA is the A is for transparency. So yes, you can do RGBA, and that'll work. You can do RBG, because what this does is it swaps out the color inside of the JavaScript. So if you go into the JavaScript, you'll see the colors. You'll see my substitutions. So it'll have hexalar background in between a pair of asterisks on each side, and that's my
But
placeholder.
there's no option for making part of the web viewer transparent, right? Despite what you guys putting RGB and putting an A in here
Right,
for
no,
alpha
there isn't.
channel. Okay, yeah.
So again, with the F2, that's right here. That's that hex background, and that's this light gray area around the
Yeah.
alert. So that would also need to be adjusted.
Right. Well,
other than that, everything's customizable. All the different colors are here, and then we have the even the message text right here.
Right.
Everything's customizable. Padding, vertical padding. That is the padding above and below the text right here. So 20, that's going to fill most of this web viewer. I've been doing 10 for the smaller text.
Okay.
So that's just the number of pixels, top and bottom.
Okay.
So I want to show you the other add-on too while I'm in here.
Okay. Is that the one
so
you did for Neil?
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. I got so many. There we go. Okay, add-ons by Neil and Kyle. So let's go ahead and delete that for a moment. So this, you just drag and drop it. So it's got to adjust the label name and attributes. It uses the field name, or it's, what was it? Right here, get field name. So you would change this field name to whatever the field you want it to be.
Okay.
And the label text right here, where it says demo field, that needs to be the same name as the field name.
Well, why don't you do it? I mean, because none of us, unless you're going to show it. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. So if you're trying to sell a car, this is not a good car salesman. So why don't you try this again? So put a field in and make it work. Like you have to define a field, right?
Right now.
Yeah, I got to define it. I don't think you have a field right now, right?
Demo field.
It's a brand new file. Yeah.
Well, it should have added the table. There's add-on field with animated placeholder. Oh, it's got a 1 and a 2. I'm not sure why it added the second table.
Because you've added. Well, you added. Okay. You added 2 add-ons, right? This is the second add-on you've dragged on here, right?
Yeah, but they're 2 different add-ons. I only added this once to the field.
Welcome to the world of add-ons, right? So FM, Web Viewer, Bridge.
Sometimes they can be finicky.
Jeremy Brown, let's see. Let's help you until they switch to Edge. Yeah.
Demo field placeholder 2.
So Scott Kane posted something good here. I'm going to cross-post this to other places. So if you want to try to code your way around Edge, but I think the Edge stuff is sufficient.
Now it's working. It was the field reference.
Okay.
So there you can see, you can change it, and it'll tell you what it was. You can delete it. It stays there. If you keep it blank, it'll do this placeholder. So that's a virtual placeholder. So when you go into it, it animates and goes to the bottom of the field. So it's kind of a cool trick.
Yeah, I like that. So once again, that's neat stuff that Neil had put together. The trick with Neil's stuff is to look through and find the stuff that's not overly processor intensive to see how it works. And so Neil done a great job. Some of it was really cool. Some of it was like, God, I have to have that tomorrow, right? So there's a lot of neat stuff here. So are you going to so if people want these files, how do they get these files?
So I shared them with you in the Discord.
Yeah, but not everyone here has Discord. I hate to break it to you. About half the viewers here.
Right here. So this is our chat that we've had together, and then I was adding in Neil's demos right here. So I can also add this into Discord. I figured you probably wanted to Bitly it first. And
okay, I can run it through all that process. I'll be happy to do that. Okay. I will get that done.
Yeah,
I'll have that for. I will have that for tomorrow. I can't do it while I'm talking to everyone live. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I just wasn't sure. I don't want to, because you created these as your creation. So if you want to, are you going to cross post some of these on the marketplace with Claris, or because they have add-ons there?
Yeah. So if Claris ever lets me do that, I've been talking with Robert Halsey about that, and because I was telling him, we need to be able to have every developer be able to post their add-ons. There needs to be an open source section for free add-ons, which people can freely share, and then a paid section where everything's approved, has to go through an approval process, and then they can be posted and sold on their marketplace, which would be great.
That's supposed to be what they're doing now, right? So yeah.
Yeah, that was my discussion with Robert. I met with him for an hour discussing all these add-ons, and what we can do with it and where we can take FileMaker.
Well, the problem is that it's kind of like a GitHub kind of idea, and the problem is Apple doesn't run to GitHub. So the question is, would Apple ever allow a library of open source routines that existed on that were somehow referenced or managed on an Apple-owned website, right? That's the question, right? So Megan, are you good with this conversation for the most part about the animations and stuff? It's pretty neat stuff here. Yeah, it's pretty neat. So this one here, I like them popping in and out. That's pretty slick. I'd want to look at see it on Windows. Once again, it gets back to the idea of, for serious development, you need to be using a Mac and a Windows computer side by side. So you can prefer one or the other, but you really need to be testing on the other one to make sure it still looks good. That way you're cross-platform, right?
Yeah,
so,
this gets tested on Windows and Mac, just so you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit smaller on Windows because of the resolution of the screen, but other than that, it works exactly the same. So.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate everyone. That's it for today. Let me see if I can find my magical closing video. There it is.
Just stepped up the whole way. Calm, cool, collected the quarterback. Great read, good patience. More importantly, great job up front protecting this quarterback to give you a chance. And that's all you can ask for.
Try to rally down 10. 9:25 to go here in the fourth. Short motion by Amendola from the left. Brady takes the shotgun snap. Stands in, throws it left for Amendola. Reaches up and snacks a high throw and lands inside the 10. Rolling to the 9. Ball slightly behind him, but Danny makes the grab.